right, Doc, we're at the square foot garden.
I know.
It's the family plot square foot garden.
I know, exciting.
So what do you
Great
think?
for small spaces. It looks awesome. We got some cool season, early warm season.
Okay.
I will admit that I have eaten a few of the
Okay.
peas already.
It tastes pretty good?
They're pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, we're glad you're here, and we want to plant peppers. It is that time. So
Oh, yeah.
tell us a little bit about the peppers that you brought for us today.
Yeah, so I actually brought you a selection of some of the peppers that I'm growing in my research plots in Knoxville.
Good deal.
So
good
you're
deal.
gonna have kind of a mini trial system
Good deal.
here, and I actually brought some grafted and some ungrafted peppers, and we're gonna put in a tiny research plot. So we're gonna have kind of a control and a treatment going here.
So can we tell the people what you mean by grafted and ungrafted?
Yeah, absolutely. So these are actually peppers that have a different scion and rootstock, right? So the leaves come from a different plant than the roots did.
Gotcha.
And you can actually look a little bit close here and see where they were cut together. See that little angle?
I see
so
it.
that is the graft union.
Got it.
And the purpose of this is to improve both potentially disease resistance as well as productivity.
Oh, we like productivity, don't we?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So I have done grafted tomato research actually for several years, going back even to grad school. And this is the second year that I'll be working with grafted peppers.
Okay, got it.
And so when we think about these crops, say maybe we prefer heirlooms or some of our favorite open pollinated types of cultivars that don't have some of the soil-borne disease resistance that the newer cultivars have. Well, this allows us to get the best of both worlds.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or possibly we have, a good site, not really a lot of disease challenges, but we just want to up the vigor. And what this allows us to do is have a vigorous root system that can even increase the plant size, potentially increase the productivity. And so those are the things that we'll be looking at. Plant,
Like it.
fruit number, fruit size.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. That sounds good.
Yeah. So, of course, to do the comparison, we have Big Bertha ungrafted and grafted. So
Big Bertha.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I bet we've got several folks that grow
I bet you we do.
Big Bertha. It is one of our favorite. It's an elongated bell, so most of the time I harvest it green, but it'll ripen all the way to red if you can leave it out there long enough and keep it healthy. So this has been one of our favorite performers over the last few years in several of our home garden trials in Knoxville. Now we're trying them grafted.
We will see how they perform here in our square foot garden. How about
Yeah.
that? All right, so you want to demonstrate to us how you're going to plant Big Bertha?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think maybe we will start with the ungrafted because there's going to be just a little nuance with the grafted plant that we'll talk about.
Good.
So now I only have one tag here, which is not a perfect demonstration, but we'll imagine that we have enough tags so that we can always leave one with our plant, so we can see we have pretty good root coverage throughout the root ball, but not a lot of it's not root bound. So, I consider this a pretty good size. And just so you know, and of course our viewers, these have been out in our shade house for the past couple of weeks, and so they've been hardened off. I didn't
ready to go.
Yeah, I didn't just pull them out from the warm and happy greenhouse.
So why do we need to harden them anyway? Just in case somebody has that question.
Right, yeah, great. Well, yeah, sometimes we all throw around terms, don't we? Yeah. So with the hardening off, what we really want to do is acclimate the plant to the outdoor conditions. So when they're growing in a greenhouse, especially in kind of our humid mid-south environments, they have had a high humidity, they've had lower light, and so they've been babied, right? It's been perfect for ideal and rapid growth. But we want to kind of toughen them up a bit, and so we get them used to higher light levels, we get them used to air movement, right? It's been windy in the past few weeks, and so windy, that's for sure. They have gotten used to more air movement because, of course, when we have them inside with very low air movement, they don't have as thick a cuticle, they're not going to lose water as much, and so transitioning them will help them reduce the stress once they get in the ground.
Good deal, good deal.
So here in your square foot garden, it is a very simple planting system. I didn't need to bring my measuring tape or anything because one plant in one square. So when I plant these, I want to put them so that I'm just real similar to the depth that I was in the pot.
Got it.
And you've got, this is, this
Do you like the soil?
Oh, this is very easy to work with. Yeah, really, really friable and what? Good tilth. That's what we say, right?
That's the word. Tilth.
So I want to keep it pretty close to the level that it was in its growing container, but I'm going to make sure that I cover up that media just a little bit because that peat moss will dry out rapidly. So I'm not going to push down hard, but I'm going to kind of tamp that down, firm it in there, make sure I get good soil contact with those young roots, and then of course we'll come back in and do a little bit of watering to again kind of settle that soil around those roots and get it started off. And if we have a little bit of soluble fertilizer, we might give them just a little bit.
So just a little bit. Okay.
A little bit of a shot as well.
So do we need to be concerned about those lower leaves? Is it
well,
okay?
So I mean, these are actually the cotyledons, and these are the first true leaves. Right. And for the most part, we'll just plant them and let them go. We're all still, you know, we're pretty healthy. We don't really have any serious yellowing or anything going on. We'll actually find that on some of these grafted plants, we have actually, the cotyledons have already come off, and some of these lower leaves we may just go ahead and remove. You can see we've even got a secondary shoot coming through there. So beside our ungrafted plant, we are going to put in a grafted plant. I'm going to pull this little stake out. This was actually what secured that graft. It is a tiny little silicone clip, and then as the plant heals, it just pops off.
How about that?
So, you know, we don't need it. I just kind of keep it as my shorthand. I always know what my grafted and ungrafted plants are because we have the small silicone clip. So the key to planting is to make sure that we do not bury the graft union.
Don't bury the graft union.
Because we might get then roots coming from our scion which would not have maybe that soil-borne disease resistance or that vigor. And this is similar to tomatoes. It's similar to the way we plant a grafted apple tree, right? We want to make sure that we always have that graft union up above. So we can clearly see our graft union, and, you know, in an ideal world, we'd have, you know, an inch and a half or a couple, 3 inches. We will do what we can in this instance. And so I'm going to put them once again right here in the middle. And then we can, you know, we can easily see, oh yeah, we're just gonna barely cover up that top.
Just barely?
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
Okay, all right.
And of course we'll come back in a little bit and put some support on those. But you know, their stems, they're not completely straight. They got blown a little bit while they were hardening off, but they're pretty stocky. Okay. And so they
look good.
Yeah, they'll hold up pretty well. So for our third pepper, we'll go ahead and stick him in the ground, and he is once again going to go right in the middle of our square foot, right here.
All right, we're watching that technique there. Okay, all right.
Just covering up our peat moss there, and there is our miniature pepper trowel, ready to rock and roll.
Pepper trowel. How about that? That's pretty cool. We get to have our own trowel right here in the family plot square foot garden.
Yeah, this is citizen science right here.
Citizen science at its best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dr. Natalie, thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Yeah, this is cool. I actually have some other community gardens and spots around the state that are growing some of these trials, so it'll be fun. You are the furthest west location, so you're our warmest site. Yeah. All
right, so good for us. So people are gonna be checking us for that data.
Absolutely.
All right, good deal. Thank you much. Yeah. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please click the subscribe button below.